Text the name of your favorite designer to 444-2427 for a chance to win a Samsung Galaxy Y handset, $1,000 Digicel call credit, and your own Mission Catwalk t-shirt. Who will rule the catwalk?
I like what you said already. With the,
the eyes out, and then very deep eyeliner, and don't do orange.
Don't do orange. Whatever you think.
I think blood red.
Hello designers, welcome to the catwalk. Our designers were asked to bring a work of art to life on the catwalk, merging fashion and art. The judges will score your designs as they go down the catwalk, and one will be named the winner and one will be going home. The judges deciding your fate will be Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer, Miss Novi McDonald White, Fashion Designer and Celebrity Stylist Dexter Pottinger, and Founder and Creative Director of Six Carlos Magazine, Sparrow. Now let's see art on the runway.
For the first time, nervous. I wasn't as focused as I should have been, so today was not my best day.
Honestly, like, I had this design in my head. When I got to the fabric store, I could not find the fabrics that suited my design. I had to substitute, and I guess the substitute that I used was not the best.
I was happy to see her walk down the runway. She was a trooper today. I know she almost fainted on the runway like 4 times today. But it was good. She was a trooper. She really wore the piece well. She did a good job. I was pleased.
The outfit did exactly what I wanted. She did what I wanted. It flowed. It showed unevenness in terms of the strips of fabric at the bottom piece, which is what I wanted, because again, fire is not perfect.
Honestly, I love my dress. I would wear it. I love it.
She had looked really classy and nice, and she been rocking it. I think she did well.
I was in two twos about it. I was all excited to see my piece.
I thought everybody loved my stuff. I thought that it was really good.
I was nervous because the last judging, I was in the bottom two and I really didn't want to be in the bottom this time, so I was really nervous.
She looks good in my stuff, but it's only work, but I think she's getting better as the days go by.
New Healthy Gloss 5.
I am dark and lovely.
The catwalk. Let's bring out the designers. Hello designers, welcome back to the catwalk. When I call your name, please step forward. Makisa, Anicia, Renardo, Charlene, and Watson. Your scores have qualified you to continue on this mission. You may leave the catwalk. The 6 of you represent the strongest and weakest designs we saw this week. 1 of you will be named the winner and 1 will be going home. Let's bring out your models. Elizabeth, tell us a bit about your look, please.
Okay, my piece was inspired by the artist named Dwayne Allen. The name of the piece was Entrapment. And the way he exhibited the piece, it was in a room, an enclosed room. The entire space was dark, and he had a lot of metal rods and strips of fabric with raw edges stretched in various angles. When you walk around the room, you get different points of view. And at some areas, it looks very complicated. And then at another area, you can see a way clearly through.
Interpreting art can be very difficult, varied. But when you're interpreting art to present to judges, you need to consider what they're looking at. And what we're looking at, the photo, and what we're seeing there, doesn't transcend. Your explanation is nice, but at the end of the day, it needs to be seamless. We need to get the mood and the feel from the garment that we're seeing in the photo of the artwork. I'm not getting that here. I don't see entrapment. I I don't feel the energy of the work of art here in this garment. I just don't feel it.
But I thank you for your explanation because I now have closure. I have to agree with Kenya. You really had, I mean, for me this week, the designers really stepped up to the game, as it were, right? There was a really strong stuff on the runway. Your model perhaps didn't interpret, or you probably didn't explain, but it was just, you know, entrapment. It was just very easy. It just looked very ordinary, and it certainly did not work for me.
I'm agreeing with both ladies. The choice of fabric I wouldn't use definitely because it started giving me a bit of jungle wild feel, and also the chain on the hands a bit dominatrix. And entrapment, yes, it's a part of dominatrix, but we could have, you know, interpreted it differently. But I like the piece as a piece because I'm a stylist. I liked it. I could definitely use it in a fashion story, but in terms of the challenge that you got, I don't think you executed it.
I think for me, the fabrication tends to undo it a bit. I think, again, the choice of the jungle or the zebra print, that looseness coupled with kind of that hard effect of the collar, I think they're combating against one another a bit. I think the pant is nice, it's a nice pant, but I think that part of the process should have been thought out just a little bit better, just in terms of the fabrications joining each other a bit better.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Mark, tell us about your look, please.
Art can be anything you want it to be. So when I saw the picture of a woman standing in what seemed to be like a burning furnace, you know, flames going all over, sparks, a dark background, yet she's so beautiful, and even though she had a mask, she still seemed somewhat relaxed in a sense. So what I did was I decided to use this fabric because to me, it looks like ashes or something burning.
It's not transcending. It's not, you know, it's not bringing the work of art to life on the catwalk for me.
You know, it's like, okay, when in doubt, there was the mask and then the chain around her neck and then there's a watch and then the hair is wrong. It was just you throwing things at a model and throwing things at a piece of fabric. You really ought to have thought it through a bit more and done a lot more in terms of the, you know, the background, the flames in the background. It was just, it just ended in a whimper for me. Not really a good situation.
I'm not pleased with it any at all. I don't like it itself as a piece. I don't like it because also it doesn't represent the work that I'm seeing in front of me. I think if Marvin Bartley should walk inside here and you sit him down and say, which one of these pieces is going to represent my artwork, you would definitely not pick your piece.
What happens is that your more literal depiction of it gets lost.
Thank you, Mark. Sharnicia, tell us about your look, please.
I was inspired by Julian A. Dixon Into Infinity. It was a staircase that looks like it was going on forever. So I wanted to depict stuff that has a lot of details that looks like it's going on forever. But at the same time, I remember that we're dealing with retailed stuff, and I wanted it to be an outfit that can be worn probably to a dinner or a cocktail. When you chose this art piece, I thought it was a little safe. I was worried about what you would have done with it. And I'm actually quite impressed with the work that you put into it. The actual braiding of that, you know, fabric. It came out beautifully. I look at it and it feels like I'm looking at the actual artwork.
It's not a little black dress, but it certainly is a dress that you would have ad infinitum. It's memorable. It's exquisite. I love the whole tapestry feel. It's, you know, it gives you that kind of looks appreciation. It's beautiful. It certainly is a dress. I'm happy to hear you mention retail. It is an exquisite piece of art that would translate on the shop floor.
Amazing. I love it. One word: gorgeous.
I think you did justice to your inspiration. I think the finishing looks good. I think your choice of wrapping the red takes our eye to the back of the garment. I think as far as how the red goes over the shoulder, I think all of that interaction becomes a very interesting piece. It's very flattering. The one thing that I would say, my one issue with it, is that when you look at it from the front, it's such a striking piece in terms of the execution. I feel like we lose some of that when you turn to the back, because then you just give us this black panel, and I feel like that kind of just shuts my eye down.
Thank you, Shanicio. Alexis, tell us about your look, please.
Hello, judges. The painting which my piece was inspired by is called Vine Had a Dream by Amy Lanskin. The painting has really bright colors in it and really dull colors, but my main thing was the dull gray, green, mossy tones in the back. So I did the majority of the dress in the brown and army green that you see, and I tried not to put too much color in it because then it made it look like a mess. So I actually toned down the colors with layers of mesh over the petals.
I like the fact that you depicted the shell in the skirt, but I really would have loved to have seen more of an explosion of colors, you know, to kind of transcend what I'm seeing when I look at the actual artwork.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Kenya. Oh my God, Kenya, I'm actually agreeing with you.
Twice in a row.
Alexis, I wish you had not toned down. I wish you had given us that eclat. I wish you had given us that lovely burst of color, that freshness as depicted in this Amy Laskin's piece of work. It just fell flat. It was just like, yuck.
Wow. When I first looked at the dress, I was like, oh, a next prom dress. You know, could have played with it a bit more.
I think there are definitely some redeeming qualities about this piece. I think that I'm not a huge fan of the top part of the corset, but I think overall the shape of the piece is nice. I think what happens for me in terms of looking at your painting and looking at what you came up with finally is that flower sitting in the middle, that burst that we begin to see, I think could have been done in a way where it kind of encompasses more, or it starts to play around with more of the actual silhouette of the dress. I think it just feels like it's sitting in her midsection. I like the idea of trying to dull down some of the color and that we still see some of the color peeking out. I think playing with us visually like that is a nice aspect. But I think it's sitting in a place that's only going to be flattering on someone that's this tiny. When you start to play with putting more bulk to someone's midsection, it's just not a really good idea. So I would have liked to seen this idea start to move around the dress a bit more, and I think it might have become a much more, a stronger piece.
Okay, thank you, Alexis. Theodore, tell us about your look, please.
Judges, I was excited for this week's challenge because it was an opportunity for me to come out of my box of being a clean-cut designer to kind of add some edge to my style. So when we visited the Jamaican National Art Gallery, I was immediately drawn to a piece by Jamaican artist Shidineen Fletcher, and the piece is entitled Beneath the Skin, and it's a two-part series. And what attracted me to the sculpture itself was the intricacy of the work that she put into it. What appeared to be patchwork on the bust itself of the mannequin that she created. I just liked the intricacy of the layers, and then she had cow horns as well as goat skin. So for the challenge, I imagined that I was hired by Alexander McQueen, the house of Alexander McQueen, and I took that concept and I created Theodore Elliott for Alexander McQueen. And instead of actually doing literal cow horns on the actual blouse itself, I decided to interpret it with leather, since it is a hard, somewhat soft material.
I like the fact that you use the shorts. It really allowed us to focus on the bodice, the top part of the outfit, which is where we really should focus. Like the actual patchwork that you've done, almost papier-mâché type of look that you have here in the art piece. I like the fact that you took the time to do the horns, you know? What did you use for the horns?
I used the Jamaican Observer. Wrapped it up with some tape, and then I used acrylic paint on the top to kind of give it the cow horn feel at the end. The model went through a lot, so thanks.
Kudos for stepping out of your safe zone, Theodore. I suspect Sarah Burton would also be impressed. Great work, intricate detail. I would grab it for a shoot. It really is, it's great. And for retail value, it works as well.
Theodore, I couldn't not look at that piece and say that you're a safe designer, because I'm looking at couture right now and I love it. Definitely. And as Novia said, it's a piece that I love to shoot.
Ever turn around for a second? Thank you. Okay, you can turn back. I think this is one of the only pieces for me that works when they're using the raw edge. I think raw edge can either undo you or it can do great service, and I think the combination of the raw edge with the finished lines of the leather makes that determined statement. It feels strong, she feels strong in it. I think in looking at it, the color choices that you use in the front and then kind of bringing that color of white into the back kind of, again, keeps my eye going all the way around the piece.
Thank you, Theodore. David, tell us about your look, please.
Good day, judges. The moment I saw Christopher Lawrence's piece entitled The Separation, it gave me like an oriental feeling. I wanted to play around the fact that it was a mixed media piece, and I really wanted to draw the attention to the separation. I love the orange line that went through the painting. It kind of gave me a Zen feeling, so I wanted to play with that. I wanted to have the spillage into the white, and then for stage, I wanted the looked up impact, so I paired it with a hat that gave me the same Zen feeling. I also have to admit that it was a tough challenge for me. I guess I became a little Picasso and I started to paint the picture that I was inspired by.
I'm not sure I like the bridal veil aspect of it, but hey, you're being dramatic. It's your interpretation. And all in all, I like the dress. I just would have liked to have seen more of a separation.
I must say, David, I love the impact, of your models, 5 seconds on stage. I'm not too sure that I'm actually, I see the separation and kudos for that as well. In fact, in discussion later on, Sparrow convinced me that it was, I'll allow him to add the deets.
My only issue with the whole thing is the headpiece. It just starts to become too much. I can't tell if and where it's attached, if it's attached to the garment. So that's my only issue. But otherwise, I think you did a really good job with depicting your piece of artwork.
Thank you, David. When I call your name, please step forward. David, Trinicia, and Theodore. Your designs were the strongest we saw this week. And one of you will be the winner of this mission, and your garment made available in Lee's 5th Avenue.
With Digicel 4G Mobile, discover hundreds of thousands of apps available from the Google Play Store, allowing you to do more. Listen more. Feel more. Love more. Play more. See more. Like more. Share more. Make more of every moment. Sign up for a Digicel 4G mobile data plan and explore the Google Play Store from your Samsung smartphone. Put extraordinary at your fingertips. Be extraordinary. Digicel. millionaire? Who will rule the catwalk?
Who will it be? Sharnicia, congratulations. You are the winner of this mission. You may leave the catwalk.
First, I was wondering if I went enough, because it was an art challenge. I was wondering if I did enough, right? And then when Kenya finally said, "It's Shirley saying the winner of this big challenge," I'm really surprised.
Elizabeth, Mark, Alexis, your designs were the weakest we saw this week, and one of you will be out. Alexis, your construction skill is way too strong for you to bore us with a dress like this. You have one more chance to wow us. You may leave the catwalk. You both fell very short at bringing the work of art to life on the catwalk. What we're looking at is very bland and doesn't translate. Mark, I'm sorry, you're no longer part of this mission. You may leave the catwalk.
Actually, I kind of knew that today would have been, one of those days in which, it's highly likely that you'd probably be in the bottom 3. Didn't depict fire, which is what I wanted for my design, which is what the picture showed.
The winning design from tonight's episode will be available tomorrow at Lee's 5th Avenue, Tropical Plaza.
By putting these pieces in, you actually gave it dimension. And this is what the dress has. It has a lot of dimension. And all of this hair and these actually look like hand draping, which is like hand woven. And the application of this red really picked up the art that you're interpreting. So this was very good the way you did this.
Hi St. Vincent, I know all of you guys proud of me right now. I'm very happy that you've been supporting me all along. So thank you. Big up to St. Vincent.
On the next episode of Mission Catwalk,
you will design a garment that complements one of these looks created by our style team.
It shouldn't be as hard as the last challenges.
Hopefully I pull it off.
Something going on, but me not yet.
This is red carpet, all right. This week is a week for you to really shine. You have to check your grain before you put a scissor.
I love this look.
It doesn't look very flattering or well done.
It's very unattractive for a woman.
I'm sorry, you're no longer part of this mission.
Who will rule the catwalk? Bye. Become a super millionaire.
Digicel. Be extraordinary.